Hey guys, what's up everyone? Just gonna wait for some more people to join and then I'll get right into it. So just hold tight. You guys can watch the chart from my perspective, from my point of view. This is how my chart usually looks during the day. And then once a couple more people join, I'm gonna get into some important updates as we get into earnings. So just give me a couple of minutes, guys. I see Kenny's tampon was able to join us. Welcome, Kenny. All right, so I think we're just about ready to start. One more second, I guess. Okay, so GME, I'll start from the beginning. So we originally had this trigger cross, bullish trigger cross. That was the first step. So once we got this bullish trigger cross, that was an obvious signal for us to go long. So in the Discord, we took calls here. Our stop loss the entire time was below the daily trigger. We wrote it up. I sold, I think, on this pop. So I missed out on this move, but I got a nice move here. Yeah. Sold on this pop. I sold like right here. So yeah, I didn't catch all of it. But as a trader, I just try to get in and out of positions, not trying to hold them. Next important cross we had was right here, the daily trigger crossing above the weekly trigger. Right after that cross happens, price attacked the monthly trigger. So what happens a lot of time in these trigger crosses is that a lot of times price will pull back to the daily trigger before erupting through the monthly trigger. That doesn't mean it has to happen. So I'll show you guys an example right now of where that didn't happen. If you take a look at MVIS, pretty much the exact same setup. You got that, you got that trigger cross right here. All right, I'm just gonna wait for the rest of the chart to load. Running a little slow today, so just bear with me. All right, so same exact setup, okay? We had the bullish trigger cross, we wrote it up. Then we had the next bullish trigger cross, and price did not retrace. Instead, it went straight to the monthly trigger, and it even broke above the monthly trigger. Once it broke above the monthly trigger, what did it make? A 50% move higher? Let's see. Yeah, 68% move higher. So you guys have to understand how dynamic and how much of an acceleration level these triggers are. So the monthly trigger is the biggest acceleration level, meaning once price pushes past it, you get some strong acceleration to the upside, but that doesn't start until the hourly trigger crosses the monthly trigger. So my point is, for those of you guys who are meme stock watch, we're going to give daily updates and forecasts on GME and others. This is how I want to play this. I want you guys to all understand it. Let me just wait for the chart to load. Again, I apologize. Things are running a bit slow today. Okay, here we go. So there are two trades here, guys. There are two amazing trades, and one of them is going to happen, and one of them won't. And I just want to catch one of them, all right? So here are the two possibilities that are going to set up for us into GME. I don't think we're going to see a third possibility. Obviously, it's possible, but I do think it's going to be one of the two. So let's take a look. The first trade possibility is that during earnings, we reject this upper level, and price ends up pulling back and, pulling back all the way to this daily trigger that we have. All right, that is the first possibility. That price rejects the monthly trigger, earnings, there's a pullback, and then what we want to do is we want to buy about right here with a stop loss below the daily trigger or below the weekly. So anywhere under here, like in the 22s, that would be complete invalidation, and then we would cut the position for a small loss. So again, our first trade, we want to, if we come down over earnings, we want to buy this, and then we should have a face ripper to the upside. Should break the monthly trigger. GME will turn fully bullish, and the sky's the limit once that happens. The second trade is, what if earnings is bullish? And we get this nice pop onto earnings, let's say to the $30 range, and then consolidation. That's fine too. Why is that fine? Because sure, we may not capture that move, but I will tell you that before it really explodes to the upside, there's going to be something that has to happen first, and that's going to be the hourly trigger crossing above the monthly trigger. And until this cross happens, price will not really explode to the upside. Sure, a nice push higher over here. Remember, IV is going to drop right after earnings, so I don't even know how great of a trade holding calls into earnings is. I have nothing against it. I'm just not doing it personally. Everyone, more than welcome to make your own financial decisions. But for me personally, if earnings is a hit and price breaks out above here, then I'm going to be looking to buy once the hourly trigger crosses above the monthly trigger. Very similar. Is just so great that I get to show you guys such a clear example. But this is what it would look like. So let's say earnings tonight get that nice push higher above the monthly trigger, but you won't see this extreme acceleration until the hourly trigger crosses. Almost always. Usually the accelerations only start after the trigger crosses, so you guys could see, it's coming up here, but once you got this trigger cross, it was already slowing down, accelerated to the upside. Over here, it was already slowing down, and then once you got the trigger cross, that's when the real move happened. All I'm trying to do is catch the real move, not like the in-between moves. Oh, you guys say you can't hear me? Can you guys hear me right now? Someone just let me know in the comment section if you guys could hear me. Anybody? Oh, okay. Donut Man says you guys could hear me. So again, this is the second trade. If there is a nice earnings pop, which there totally could be. I have no opinion whatsoever if we're going to go up or not on earnings. I'm not a I'm not a fundamental investor. I'm just a trader. If I have to guess before the earnings call, I will make my guess. I promise you. You guys are going to see the guess. That's coming right after this. So before the guess, I just want to let you guys know, if we break above this monthly trigger, once the hourly crosses above, that's when I'm going to buy. My stop loss will be below the hourly trigger. So if at any point price breaks below this hourly trigger, I will sell my position for, usually it's going to be a very small loss. And what's more than likely is going to happen is that GME is going to rip to the 30s, 40s even. So let's take back all the drawings. Now I'm going to show you guys what I think is going to happen into earnings. So to start, most importantly, when we delve into earnings, we have to understand what's going on in the heat map. How are dealers positioned? Brad says, so you're saying it's a 50-50 guess, and you choose one option before 4 p.m. No. All the options that I discussed are only for after earnings. I am personally not taking a position before earnings. So let me show you guys one more time. For those that didn't understand, after earnings, there's going to be two options. One option is that price comes down here. I want to buy it. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy this if it comes down here, and my stop loss will be down here. That's option number one. Option number two is that price moves up on earnings. I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to make any profit from this move besides for the tons of shares that I have. That would be nice if price goes up. I don't always need to make money from calls. I have shares for a reason. But once the hourly trigger crosses above the monthly trigger, okay, I think it cut off for a second. Yeah, sorry guys. Not sure what's going on. I think it's something to do with my my internet connection today. Usually it's much better, but I think we should be back on right now. So yeah, I don't really care about this move. It's not that important to me. What's way more important to me is that once the hourly trigger crosses the monthly trigger, that's when I want to buy calls, because that's the big explosive move. You know, that's the real move. That's the important move. All right, so you guys wanted a prediction, what's going to happen on earnings. I'm going to give you guys the prediction right now. Okay, so all right. So here's how the heat map is situated, okay? Anywhere above 26.8, price starts running into some selling pressure. Now, selling pressure simply means that dealers will be forced to sell shares, okay, to hedge their position. Now, if dealers are forced to sell shares to hedge their position, their options positioning, price will most likely come back down. The reason, right, the advantage of, yeah, someone just made a great point in the chat. He said that the advantage of waiting until after earnings is we will most likely get IV crush and calls will be better priced for entry. I have no interest in buying crazy high price calls that are IV juiced, but I'm very interested in buying calls after earnings. So again, back here, the blue is purchasing support, which means if price moves into the blue shaded area, dealers will have to purchase shares, buy shares, which pushes price back up. So last earnings report, what happened is that, I'll show you guys how it looks. Here, this was last earnings report. Let me get a better look for you guys. Right here, okay? Now watch this. When price, which was at 18 or so at the time of earnings, when price moved upwards and hit 19, and then 20, and 21, it moved immediately right into purchasing support. So what happened? Dealers had to start buying shares. And the 1 and the 1.1 and the 1.2, it just gets thicker. The higher the numbers, the stronger the purchasing support is, the more shares dealers have to buy. And so as price moved up into this purchasing support, dealers had to buy shares and buy shares and buy shares and buy shares, which brought price all the way up to 27. Taylor Jones, this is going to answer your question right here. Yeah, last time price went up $10, but look at the heat map. The heat map was super supportive for price moving up $10. The heat map showed that as price climbs, dealers will have to purchase shares, making price go higher, which forces dealers to purchase more shares, and which brought the price higher, which forces dealers to buy more shares, which kept bringing the price up all the way to 27. What happened at 27 is that we hit the GME monthly trigger and rejected right here. That's why, we stopped here. But going back to the heat map, last earnings, all right, the heat map supported a move higher if earnings was good. If earnings was even slightly good and was able to push price up even $2 higher, we gamma squeezed to the upside towards 27. That's what happened last earnings. But this earnings, it's a totally different story, guys. That's the whole point that I'm trying to say. It's a totally different story. Last earnings, the heat map supported a push higher. This earnings, there is selling pressure above price. So let's say earnings is good and price moves up to 27, dealers are going to be forced to sell shares and price will fall back down. Let's say price moves up to 30 or 28 or 29 or 30. If it gets to 30, look how thick the selling pressure is, all right? If 1.1 or 1 was enough to bring price all the way up to 27, you guys have to understand 1.6, if price moves up to 30, dealers are going to have to sell a lot of shares, all right? Now, is it theoretically possible that GME moves up so hard and so fast and gives such a shocking report and so many funds buy in that it is able to absolutely overpower all the selling pressure? Yes, it is possible. Yes, it is possible. Is it something I'm willing to bet my hard-earned money on such a scenario? Absolutely not. Why would I take money that I worked hard for and bet it on the chance that there will be such a splurge of buying pressure that price is able to chew through all this selling pressure when I can just wait until after earnings? And if there's a dip or an IV crush and we get either of the two setups that I spoke about, then I'll go long. That's why, for me personally, I don't see such a great thesis in buying calls before earnings, all right? For me personally, that's the truth. So Do I hear the side to bet on earnings and to buy calls for earnings? I can understand it if GME, there's a crazy if there's a crazy announcement or whatever, and if tons and tons of funds from around the world decide they're buying, yeah, I mean, totally it can chew through this selling pressure. But will it realistically, guys, like without all the Mohas talk and without all the, speculation, will it chew through all this selling pressure? I mean, look, the selling pressure kicks in at about 26.8. Okay, today, when price tapped 26.8-ish, whatever, look what happened. All right, we immediately got sold down all the way to 25. Immediately, because we moved into the selling pressure. All right, do you guys think that on earnings we're going to chew right through all of this? Do you guys think we're going to chew through all this selling pressure and just move straight up more than 18% so that your calls will be profitable even after the IV crush? I don't know. I'm just saying, to me, I don't see the risk reward metric in my favor. I see most likely, even if earnings is a beat, price will run into selling pressure and will get straight back down, and my calls will open worthless. That's what I see as the most likely cause. There is a chance, I see it as a slim chance. Snowcase came on and says GME is going to 35. Yeah, GME can go to 35, but would I bet my money on it? No. Now, I have shares in this company. I have a lot of shares in this company. I've been buying for almost 3 years straight. I've been buying shares in this company. So if price makes a super strong move to 35 and chews through all of the selling pressure, I'm making money on my shares. I'm happy. Some people have this thing where they need to be in calls always. They can never miss a move, with calls. It's, to me, when there's a great opportunity for GME calls, like, over here, when we got the bullish trigger cross, that was a beautiful opportunity. I rode this up. I made a nice amount of money on this move. Do I need to catch every cent of the move? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, for you guys asking what happens if GME opens at 37, then my calls will be up 12, then all my shares that I own will be up $12 higher, and I'll be the happiest man. But do I see that happening with all this thick selling pressure in the way? I don't see it happening. That being said, when I look at an equation, I can never tell you what's going to happen, but I can tell you what is worth risking my money on or not. If this heat map was the same as tonight, if tonight's heat map looked like this, I would say it's worth buying calls, because if GME is able to beat earnings at all, if there's any sort of buying pressure on earnings, then price is going to rocket higher, because there's going to be dealers forced to buy shares as price moves higher, pushing price even higher. So if the heat map looked like this, for sure I'd be buying calls for earnings. But because the heat map looks like this, I'm just not so confident in it. Also, in the options positioning, all right, if GME was truly going to burst on earnings, we more than likely would have seen people selling puts. Institutions, funds selling puts, because we always see sold puts before GME moves higher, like we saw down here at the same time we got the bullish trigger cross. JRoll, I took a poll and it says full port GME 35 C's at close today. Only person pulled was Laren. Yeah, so I'm a little nervous for some of the guys in our Discord who have a lot of money in GME options right now. I'm a little nervous for them, but I hope it works out for them. And again, guys, I am a GME bull. I've been a bull for 3 years, and now with all the developments that are happening with this bullish trigger cross here, I'm even more bullish than I ever was. But to play calls and earnings, the data's telling me not to. Can I possibly miss a nice upside move? Yes, of course I could. But I don't care. I only like risking my hard-earned money on calls when I see a great risk-to-reward setup that tells me that I have more of a chance of making money than losing money. And the data tells me you have more of a chance of losing money than making money. So that doesn't mean you'll for sure lose money. It just means that it doesn't look conducive to the same type of earnings move that we had last earnings. All right, that's it. That's my whole speech. I don't have much more to say. After earnings, regardless if price moves up, regardless if price moves down, there will be another option play, because the move to the upside is not over. All right, so no matter what, I'm gonna make money on GME options, even though I didn't play earnings. By the way, Snowcase, we all entered around 18-19. You and Laren were actually the first people to give that buy at the $18 level. I think I bought originally when price broke above the hourly trigger, and then I added to my position when the hourly trigger crossed, and then I sold the position at here. I remember being upset that I could have held the drop longer. But yeah, I mean, what a fantastic freaking job you guys did getting in at 18. And of course, Gavin gave the 1812 level as the bottom. So that was some great teamwork. All right, so guys, that's it. That's basically all I have to say about it. You know, okay, so Taylor, yeah, I was going to say if you guys have any questions, just put them in the comment section and I'll get to all of them. So Taylor says, can you speak a little bit about accessing these tools and how to get familiar with them, even if people in your Discord are already familiar? So I have about 18 to 20 hours of educational content out on my YouTube and on the Discord that are private videos only for people that enter the Discord. And 20 hours of education can make anyone into a master. So it's all about if you're willing to put in the work, then you'll learn. If you're not, then you won't. I mean, you don't need 20 hours, obviously. I have 4 videos that summarize everything. Each one of them are 30 minutes, and you can watch it in 2 times speed, which means that the total for all 4 videos is 1 hour. So yeah, I mean, all these tools are accessible on memestockwatch.com if you want cheaper. It's only $20 a month, and if you want to, and if you want the more personalization, like the Discord where we're live trading every second, swing trading, whatever, all that stuff, that's for the Discord. So DowScript says, I agree with you, and I'm too green to this game to hold the calls I bought yesterday to risk it. I think I'm lucky to be in profit after riding out this morning dip. I mean, listen, if you wanna hold calls, I have no problem with it, guys. I'm not in here to tell anyone don't hold calls over earnings. All right, that's it. I personally will not swing calls over earnings because I know that no matter what, whether it goes down here, I'm buying, and whether it goes up here, I'm going to buy once the hourly trigger crosses and still catch a huge move to the upside. So I don't care to have calls over earnings. If you guys want to have calls over earnings, have calls over earnings. Doesn't affect me. Really makes no difference to my life. I'm just saying for the meme stock watch guys, don't worry. I know I said I'm not taking calls. There will be an opportunity, regardless if price goes up or down, to make a great call options trade on GME, and I'll forecast the entire thing for you guys. For me personally, obviously, I mean, I'm kind of hoping for this because this would be a textbook buy. You buy against the daily trigger. You stop out over here. You take calls 2-3 months down the line. If, price breaks down, you lose literally 10-15% of your position. If we bounce here, which is expected with 80% chance expected, if we bounce, not only are we going to come back to the monthly trigger, but we're going to pop right through. So for the meme stock watch, guys, this is what I'm waiting for, and I'll narrate the entire move with you guys. If not, if it's a bullish earnings, okay, then once the hourly trigger crosses the monthly trigger, we buy right here. Wherever price is, we buy, and then we're still going to catch a fantastic move back up. So I'm not worried. I don't feel any FOMO. And if I can't manage to grab any calls and price goes to the moon, guys, that's why I have a big GME share position in case that happens. I don't feel like I'm missing moon tickets if I don't carry calls into earnings. So yeah, that's it for me. Taylor Jones says another potential strategy is selling calls tomorrow morning on a moderate gap up in case the selling pressure pushes price back down. Taylor Jones, you sound like a smart guy. That's exactly what I told my Discord, and exactly what we did last earnings. So last earnings, when price rejected the monthly trigger, we sold in the money covered calls. So we sold like 25 covered calls because, we were buying the dip down here. So let's say I bought 500 shares down here in addition to the already 1,000 shares that I have. I don't mind if these 500 shares get assigned at 25 if I bought them at 16. That's still a $900 trade per 100 shares. So because price rose to the monthly trigger here, we sold in the money covered calls and we made thousands of dollars on that trade. Gavin actually alerted that, so I can't really take much credit for it, although I gave the idea. But here, similar situation. If GME opens tomorrow in the $30 range, I have no problem selling covered calls because I don't think price can get past all this thick selling pressure. Statistically, is it possible to? Yes. But it would take an enormous amount of buying pressure. Okay, any other questions? Hold on. Yeah, so this was, the latest report that I gave. I said GME rejected the monthly trigger today. I'm not thinking about calls until after earnings, so no need for constant updates, but I will have video out tonight after earnings to see, which opportunity we're going to get, which kind of call opportunity we're going to get. Also, by the way, if you guys have any questions on any of these, you can always leave comments under below and I'll ask them, or you can message me here. New conversation. Hello. So I'll be on here for like, let's see, probably another 20 minutes to answer any possible questions that you guys have. All right, I think we're back on. Sorry about that. Got disconnected for a second. So I'll also stream earnings to tell you guys like during earnings what I think can happen. During earnings, like how the heat map will look. By the way, I love doing this. This is really cool. Check this out, guys. Hold on. Watch this. Wait. Oh yeah, here we go. Check this out. You can also visualize it this way. I like doing this. So now I can see where the selling pressure is. The selling pressure is right here. And I know that if price dips below here, there will be purchasing support, which will bring price higher. So the heat maps I send every night. Every night on Meme Stock Watch, you guys will get heat maps for GME, AMC, SPY, everything, all the stocks that we cover. So these are very, very, very important. I mean, you guys could see the purchasing support down here helped the whole week to keep price moving higher. So you guys could see the impact that the purchasing support has on price. So again, any of you guys have any questions that you feel like I can answer for you, ask them, and I have no problem doing that. Otherwise, I'm going to close the stream now, but I'll be back on for earnings to narrate it live with you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. I love hearing your guys' questions, hearing your guys' thoughts. I love, getting the chance to be able to explain my thesis and what I'm saying to you guys and hear feedback from you guys. So I appreciate everyone that tuned in today. I'm going to be quiet now. I'll stay on for another 3-5 minutes. If there's any questions, I'll answer them. And if not, I'm going to close it and I'll be back on as soon as earnings starts. Farron, thank you so much for joining. Taylor Jones, I appreciate your questions. You seem like an intelligent individual, and you would probably love our Discord. Yeah, I'll be back streaming on YouTube right when earnings starts. By the way, guys, just, spoiler, I'll give you guys a couple of quick trades that I'm in right now, if the internet works. All right, so KRE, which is the banking Marco Salvador, I am streaming GME earnings. So if you look at KRE here, got a bullish trigger cross right here, hourly trigger crossing the daily trigger, and nice air pocket up here to 48. So I'm in the August 18th $48 calls. Also, I sent this out last night on Meme Stock Watch as a bonus trade. This one was really cool. So we saw a plug last night. Let's go to the dashboard. Where was it? All right, so plug, bonus play. So I wrote that there was a ton of sold puts on plug. Whenever I say sold puts, that's very bullish. VOX looks bullish. Triggers and LDPM looks bullish. It looks like a great play. Validation only under 8.65, and I'm targeting September call, so it's a stress-free trade. If we look at plug today, plug is up 7.7%. All right. And it does look like we can get some more upside all the way up to the weekly trigger. So 1 second. My Wi-Fi picked a bad day to be nasty right now. But just bear with me 1 more second. Let's see if it loads. This sucks. Here we go. So, plug also got a bullish trigger cross, and I think it can rise all the way here. I'm in September call, so I have plenty of time on this trade. If it moves back below the hourly trigger, I'll cut the trade, but I do think we can get all the way up here. So those are 2 trades that I'm in right now, and that gives you like a kind of idea of the trades that I like to take. When the data triggers with LDPM, usually we get some fire trades. So I'll always post bonus plays on Meme Stock Watch, but if you guys want access to all of them, and Carry is actually doing pretty well right now, and so is Plug. If you guys want access to all of them, those are always going to be in the Discord. So thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you guys in a few hours for earnings.